Peace. Good day, good people. Welcome to Conscious Crusade's YouTube page. My name is Akil Tav, and in this video, we're going to discuss hips, right? I talk about hips a lot, and we are targeting the brothers, but this works for everybody and this goes for everybody, right? Happy hips is a happy life, because unfortunately, we carry a lot of stress in our hips and in our shoulders, but particularly our hips and men, because honestly, brothers, we kind of think it's a little feminine when we mention open hips for guys. You know, if we say open hips, we got to say pause. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, as I mentioned, we carry a lot of stress in our hips. So when the hips are mobile and flexible, then energy and chi can flow through freely. And again, that helps to reduce stress. So I'm going to go over a few postures that I do pretty regularly to increase my hip mobility, increase my range of motion, and not be so tight, you know? So the first I'm going to start off with is goddess squat, right? So starting in goddess squat, you come with your toes, heels, and ankles, and we want to go out with our heels, out with our toes, out with our heels, and then our toes. Make sure the knees and toes go in the same direction. I can get a little bit more, widen my feet a little bit more. Bring my hands here. Inhale and exhale, sink. Stand up on the inhale and exhale, sink. Now when I sink, what's happening is my quads are rolling back, my pelvis is rolling forward, because oftentimes a lot of people may collapse in their knees like mine do because I have tight hips, but you want the quads externally rotating and the pelvis forward. And then going to continue. Inhale, exhale, sink. And we want to be here for 3 to 5 to 7 breaths. Breathing. Happy hips. In our goddess squat. And come out of it in your goddess squat. The next pose, or the next movement that I want to demo, is Skidasana. That's a Sanskrit term, or side lunges, right? I like to come, again, you want to spread your feet, get at least a leg width distance in between your feet. Place your hands on the mat or the floor. You know what? Let me grab a block, because that's for people who have tight hips, and this is how I started actually. Spreading our heels, hands on the block, right? A little forward fold. It's gonna lunge into each leg. Call it Skidasana, side lunge. Toes can be diagonal. They're more forward maybe if you have more open hips, which I don't. Can do this with a block. Should get a little bit more flexibility, remove the block. And when you get a little flexibility and strength, bring your hands here. Side to side. You can also pause on either side and get a few breaths. Pointing these toes and using it to drag me over to that side. And picking up the toes. So yeah, Skidasana or side lunges. Movement and motion is like lotion for the muscles and the joints. This was challenging when I first started this, but now, not so much. Skidasana or side lunge. So, the next posture we want to do is the yogi squat. You guys have seen this before. This is absolutely one of my favorites. I like to start the same way. I like to bring my toes and heels together. Heel, toe, and once your feet are diagonal on your mat, sink down in your yogi squat. Try to keep your heels down, glutes down, chest up. Elbows inside the knees, opening them up. Micro movements. If this is challenging and you can't keep your heels down, I suggest sitting your sacrum on a block. And anybody who has ever followed me, they know I often post this posture, this pose. Yogi squat. Glutes down, chest up. You can see the S on my chest, so you can see the Conscious Crusade on my chest. And I'm breathing. Micro movements. Using my elbows to open up my knees. And you can do things like this, like watching the game. Do this for 2 minutes while the commercial is on, or watching your favorite TV show. Sometimes if I'm stressed during the day, I'll just come and do a yogi squat for a minute, 2 minutes or so. Again, just to break up the inertia. Happy hips. Yogi squat. The next pose we're going to go to is Baddha Konasana. And because I have tight hips, I'm going to go ahead and sit on a block. Again, don't run away from the props. Props are your friend. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together. Bring your heels as close to your glutes as possible, right? Hold your feet like you're operating a book. I'm going to push down on my elbows, up on my knees. It's showing resistance. Down on my elbows, up on my knees, down on my elbows, up on my knees. Relax my knees. And they lower an inch or two. Same rules apply. Up on your knees, down on your elbows, up on your knees, down on your elbows, up on your knees, down on your elbows. Relax the knees and get lower. And I'm breathing. Little micro movements. Lengthen your spine and then hinge. And again, I'm constantly pressing down on my elbows, opening my hips a lot more. Baddha Konasana. And we're breathing. Holding my feet like I'm opening a book. My spine is long. Elbows pressing down on my knees, and I'm hinging at the waist. And this posture is called Baddha Konasana. The last hip movement, hip opener we're going to do is 90-90, right? 90-90. So I'm going to start by making your legs 90 degrees. And it's important, right? Get that 90-degree action with your feet. Sometimes I see people here, and it's not wrong. It's just, we can be set up. Be more intentional with how you're set up. 90-90. And just hinge. Lift up. This knee lifts and leads over to this side. Lengthen your spine. Hand on that sole of the foot. Hinge. Opposite side. Lead with this knee. Set up your 90 degrees with both legs. Hand on the sole of this foot. Lengthen torso. Hinge. And you can do that a few times, several times, because you know the Conscious Crusade mantra. Movement and motion is like lotion for the muscles and the joints. Let me slide back here so I can try to do these without my hands. Maybe. Got to develop a little strength. And once you create that nice movement, then you go ahead and lengthen and fold and give it a few breaths. You can also twist the opposite shoulder to that knee. And last time on this side. Again, 90-90. Hand on the sole of the foot. Lengthen your spine. Inhale. Exhale, fold. 3 to 5 breaths. Optional. This shoulder toward that knee. You feel it all the way up that glute. So, there you have it. Those are a few of the moves that I do pretty regularly to make sure that I maintain mobility and range of motion in my hips. Again, because we carry a lot of stress and emotions down there. I've heard some people say in yoga classes when they do certain hip openers, the emotions take over and sometimes they cry. Personally, that has never happened to me, but I am a firm believer and knower that we carry a lot of emotions and stresses in our hips. So when we increase that range of motion and that mobility, as I mentioned before, it allows blood, chi, energy to flow freely. So thank you guys for joining in. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and also leave a comment, right? Let's have some discussion. I'm here. I got answers. And you can also find quite a few of these postures on my Crusader Cues box, right? The link is in the bio on my Comey link. And what that is it's a beginner-friendly pose breakdown system so that you can feel confident and safe in any yoga class you go to. It removes the confusion. The Crusader Cues box is in my Comey link along with a lot of other good stuff. So check it out and yeah, we'll see you back here. Thanks for joining and don't forget, share this with a friend. We need it, fellas. Peace.